Autodesk Inventor. All right, we're going to work with some planes here, and this plane that we're going to do will be for a revolve cut. If we look at this pin, it's pretty much the same pin as the last one we did. It's 1.5 inches in diameter and a 1-inch diameter. We've got a 1/2 inch length on the 1.5 inch diameter, 2-inch length on the 1-inch diameter. And instead of having a pinhole for a keeper here on this end of the nose of the pin, we actually have a groove that is cut into that. So in order to get that groove, I'm going to need to do a revolve cut. On the last one, we were able to put a plane on the surface of the pin here so that we could drill a hole through there. That's not going to work here. So let's go over and start making this part. So let's grab those dimensions again, 1 by 2. Okay, I might have to run back over there and do that. I click on New, double click on a standard part, go to my cylinder primitive, go to my XY, I go here, it's 1.5 and it's a 1/2 inch thick. And I click on my cylinder again, go here, click on the center. This is a 1-inch diameter and it's 2 inches long. And there we go. We've got that simple pin done. All right. So like I was saying, we need the plane to be on the axis of this. If I grab a plane and I come over to the nose here, that's not going to get me aligned to where I can make that shape to cut the groove. I actually need to be on the axis of what's going on there. So I'm going to hit escape on that. I think I'm going to get it out of there. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just like the last time, I'm going to extend my origins. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm not even going to hit the plane button because the plane already exists. I click on my Start 2D Sketch. I come down and I look and I've got, there's my YZ axis, here's my XZ axis, and here's my XY axis. Well, I definitely don't want XY. I could use XZ or YZ. I'm going to use the YZ, the YYZ axis there. Now, I'm going to click on my scroll button on my mouse, just pan over here, put that a little more in the center of the screen. The material here is in my way though. I can't see the surface that I want to work on. I hit the slice command. Shortcut key is F7 for that. Now I can see by clicking on the view cube that I am right in the middle of that part. I go over to my view toolbar, tell it to go to the previous view. Here I am. All right, I'm going to grab a shape. I'm going to put it generically on here, going, I want it somewhere in there. Now, I don't care what the height is. I'm going to set the height for 0.265, just a random dimension. I could make it 3/4 of an inch. I could make it 2 inches, 1 inches. This isn't a critical dimension, so I hit Tab. This is a critical dimension. That needs to be 100 thousandths. Now, this shape, I want it from this edge over, I want it to be 100 thousandths over. And then I want this edge to be 100 thousandths from that surface. Now, I'm going to go up here and click on Project Geometry. I click on Project Geometry and I click on anything that I want to move forward into my drawing so that I can see it. I click on that Project Geometry. And then what I do is go in here and put a dimension on here saying that from that edge down to here, I also want that 100 thousandths. Let's see if I'm right on this. So I'm 100 thousandths over, I'm 100 thousandths wide, I'm 100 thousandths deep. Let's go over and look, check our drawing, make sure I'm on the right track. Over 100 thousandths, down 100 thousandths, and from that face, or the groove itself is 100 thousandths. So it looks like I'm in good shape. Now, one of the things that's going to cause a problem is this line could show up as part of my geometry. So I'm going to just see what happens if I try and click and get it out of there. It's not removing out of there, so I think I might be safe. Might be just showing up as a construction line. So I click on Finish, and I've got my geometry sitting down inside there. I'm going to do this. Now these steps are important to follow, at least it makes it easier. Remember, if you're ever getting lost, look down in the lower left-hand corner of any command and it'll tell you what Inventor is wanting to do or the question it's asking. I click on Revolve. I don't do anything except click on Cut. My experience has been that if you don't do this first, it causes a little bit of trouble later. So I click on the profile and I can see that the profile is actually already selected. And what I messed up is I don't have an axis there. I didn't put an axis in my sketch. So what do I do here? I click Cancel. Do I click on New Sketch? Every time I click on this, remember, it's an entirely brand new sketch having nothing to do with anything else. I actually want to edit this sketch here. I double click on the sketch. Double click on the sketch. There we go. I'm going to hit F7 or click the slice command. And what I want to do is put a line in here on the axis of the part. I put that in there. That way my Revolve command has some geometry to know what to pivot around. All right, let's do this again. Hit Revolve. What was that again? Hit the cut first, right? Go to Profile. I select the profile. And then I select the axis to go around. There we go. Now you see, the cutter was too big, but that doesn't matter. It's just cutting into space, and we're fine there. So there we go. We've got a plane off of that axis to be able to make a cut on a round part. Very good. Remember, just like I did, people forget to put that axis point in there in the center. You can always go back and edit your sketch and put it in there. All right, that should do it.